Hola a todos y bienvenidos a Anytime Español. ¿Quieres mejorar tu nivel de español, pero estás harto de leer libros de gramática? Tal vez tú eres de los que se sabe las reglas, pero hay poco contexto. Pero no te preocupes. Hoy vamos a ver cómo puedes seguir aprendiendo con otros tipos de libros. Y en un momento, Jeff te va a enseñar cómo él lo hace con su libro favorito. Pero quédate con nosotros hasta el final porque además te vamos a dar unos consejos y tips para que sigas mejorando y disfrutes este proceso.
Hey guys, welcome back. I am super excited today because we are going to get out of the grammar books. We're going to take a little bit of a break from the Spanish lessons, the normal Spanish lessons, and we're going to have a little bit of fun just going over a little bit of my favorite book. So let's get into it and see what we can learn. So this is my favorite Spanish book, which is called El mapa de mi lonja, which is the map of my love handles, por betinorama. And we're going to go through just a little bit of the book to see what kind of things that we can learn. So you can see that this style of book is telling a story with drawings, and I personally like this because I think you get a lot more context, and I think that you can understand a lot of things much more easily when you have drawings with words. So let's start. So, hace 2 años a mi esposa le ofrecieron un trabajo en Brasil. So 2 years ago, they offered my wife a job in Brazil. So right off the bat, with one sentence, we have a ton of grammar. Hace 2 años is a time expression in Spanish, which means 2 years ago. A mi esposa is using the personal a. Le is an indirect object pronoun, and ofrecieron is a verb in the preterite past tense, one of the 2 past tenses. So we can see immediately that there's a lot to analyze here. But for now, let's keep going. Estábamos entrando a nuestros 30 y mudarnos a otro país era una oportunidad de viajar, conocer gente nueva y cambiar la rutina. So this is a great example of why are we using the imperfect tense instead of the preterite? Well, remember, the preterite tense is a one-time specific action that already passed, and the imperfect can be used more to describe things. So, estábamos entrando a nuestros, we were entering our 30s. So it's not really like one moment or like the day I turned 30. It's kind of entering our 30s. So it's more of a description, and we need to use the imperfect. The same here with era una oportunidad de viajar. So this is kind of, it was an opportunity to travel and meet new people, but it wasn't really like a one-time specific thing. It's more of a description, so we need the imperfect. Whereas in the third drawing, we see la decisión fue fácil. So this is in the preterite because a decision is kind of a one-time action that you take. So you can see in these first 3 drawings how you can learn a lot of stuff and you can analyze a lot of stuff. Now, also, we see here in the very first, the title for the very first chapter, you can learn new vocab. When I first saw this, it says, si no pica, no sabe. So to me, pica is something that itches, and sabe comes from saber, which is to know. So if it doesn't itch, you don't know, but that's not what it means at all, because pica can be picante or spicy. And saber can also be used to taste. So what this is actually saying is if it's not spicy, it doesn't have taste. It doesn't have any flavor to it. So you can learn kind of new vocab through these things too. Now we see that the introduction was it started off with a past story, but now in chapter 1, we're now caught up to the present, and he's talking in the present tense. We can practice the present. Soy mexicano y a los mexicanos nos gusta el picante. Here we also see that he's using gustar and other sort of backwards verbs. And by the way, I'm not going to stop and go through every single one of these because we have tons of full-length videos on a lot of these topics, the personal indirect object pronouns, time expressions, things like that. So I'm just going to link all of those in the description below, and you guys can watch those after, okay? But let's keep going. Here we see that right here, he says, está re bueno. So here is a great way that you can learn slang. Re bueno means like really good in Mexican Spanish. I didn't know that and had to ask Darcy, but it's a good way to learn a lot of slang too. And this one here, so in this one it says, pero una buena salsa no es la que pica mucho, sino la que pica rico. So this is like, but a good sauce isn't one that's really spicy, but it's one that's like has good flavoring or is good spicy. So what I really like about this book, I can't stress this enough, is that I think a lot of times people see a font or that's a little bit easier to read, or maybe the words are big, there's pictures, you might think it's kind of a children's book, but these are advanced topics. This no es la que pica mucho, la que pica rico. These are relative pronouns, these are advanced topics. Sino is a conjunction that's kind of more intermediate, meaning but rather. So there's a lot you can learn in these types of books. Another reason that images are really good is right here. It says, la salsa es el escudo de armas de cada familia porque cada una la prepara diferente. So it's like the salsa, escudo de armas to me is a shield of weapons. The sauce is a shield of weapons of each family. So what is a shield of weapons? But here we can see images are a coat of arms. And that makes sense because in the olden days, families used to wear these kind of symbols or coat of arms or their escudo de armas when they went into battle to identify who their family was. So a coat of arms is not a abrigo de armas, but rather an escudo de armas. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this video, please consider giving us a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps our channel and we really appreciate it. Thanks so much. What else do we see here? So here also you can learn a lot of things culturally. So Darcy and I loved going through this page because these are all the kind of like candies that Mexicans eat when they grow up. And it was really fun to go through this with her, being like, I don't like this candy. Oh, these have always been my favorites. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? And it's really kind of fun to go through some of these. By the way, these mango chili suckers are amazing. But it's really just kind of something fun. It's almost like you don't even know that you're sort of learning the names of these things or that you're studying. It's just kind of fun to go through it. So that's just a little bit of my favorite book. If you guys actually want me to kind of read through a chapter in a future video and go through it, I would love to do that. I seriously have read this like 5 or 6 times. I still practice it because, like I've said, for me it's really good using past tenses. But for now, let's head over to the couch and see our tips and advice that we have for you. Y bueno, ¿qué te pareció esta forma de aprender? ¿Te gustó?
Yo creo que para ti sí ha servido mucho este proceso. Y bueno, para ustedes, aquí están los consejos. Número 1. Tienes que encontrar un tema que te interese. Ese es el primer requisito.
Exactamente. Los libros pueden tratarse de cualquier cosa. Hay algunas personas que les interesa, no sé, los libros de suspenso, de ficción, de géneros románticos o de dibujos. No importa, solo que te interese. De hecho, yo compré una vez un libro de género romántico porque, no sé, costó como 30 pesos o algo así y pues todavía no lo he leído porque no me interesa. Entonces, lo importante es que encuentres un libro que te interese. O, en segundo lugar, si sabes un tema que te falta practicar. De hecho, este libro, mi profesora de español en Italki me lo recomendó porque me hacía falta mucha práctica con los tiempos pasados. Y ella sabía que ese libro usa mucho el tiempo pasado y sabía que me iba a ayudar.
Ve a una librería y toma tu tiempo. Busca exactamente bien lo que necesitas o podrías usar para mejorar tu español. Es decir, si te hace falta vocabulario o repasar los tiempos pasados, estudiar tal vez diálogos o narraciones, entonces esas son las cosas que debes buscar en un libro.
Y por último, o número 4, después de encontrar tu libro, deberías leerlo de 2 formas. O sea, deberías leerlo un ratito para analizarlo y hacer este proceso para aprender mejor. Pero después deberías pasar un tiempo leyéndolo simplemente por diversión, sin tantas pausas para que no te aburras. Y si este libro te ha gustado, puedes comprarlo en el link en la descripción de abajo. Creo que cuesta como $3 o $4 y vale mucho la pena. Me encanta este libro.
O dinos si hay otro libro que tú conoces que pueda ayudar a otro estudiante.
Ahora ve este video para mejorar tu español.
Hasta la próxima.